Hello everyone and welcome to the virtual Phillip Island. It's Murph, it's Jacob Collins, and we're here to bring you a track that many of us have never actually seen in real life outside of motorcycles. Jacob Collins, we're in Southern Australia, brother.
Yeah, right by the ocean at that.
Yeah, we are. This track is this track, I kind of said it earlier, would be analogous to the kind of like a Laguna Seca. It's really been outgrown by the race cars. Now it's the home of the Australian Grand Prix motorcycle race, and it hosts World Superbike rounds as well. So the bikes have a playground here, but the cars, about the fastest car you'll find that goes around here today, that's an F3 machine. The track record here, Jacob, a minute 24.060. That was set by a Brabham BT62 sports car. The fastest Formula lap here, it's F3, and that's back from 12 years ago at a minute 24.5. The Formula One track record here, although this is the original home of the Australian Grand Prix, Jacob, fastest Formula One car around here, John Bowe in a March 741, minute 28.521, and that's a car from 1974. So we are absolutely going to obliterate the track record today. And speaking of obliterating track records, let's hop on board with Peter Berryman.
Yeah, you want to talk about obliterating the track record? We might be on board to watch it.
Yeah, here it is. We're watching Berryman. He's coming down the main straight, Jacob. This music fits perfectly with this lap, too. Down the main straight toward the Doohan corner. That's turn number one. Berryman, 1 minute 11.924. He only beat it, what, Jacob, by 12 seconds?
A number greater than 0 and less than a million, Mark.
13 seconds to be exact. Who else is out there? Rashad Craig is on the track. Let's see if we can jump up on board with Rashad. Now it's kind of an odd layout here at Phillip Island. This is a very technical, from turn 6, which is called Siberia, all the way through turn 12. Very technical around the course. You get this long front straightaway here, and then you're probably going to get the best passing zone that exists. That's going to be the Doohan corner, turn number 1. It's a strong right-hand sweeper. It leads into turn number 2, which is kind of a left-handed carousel. You see Rashad down to about 100 miles an hour even, second gear. He's going to climb back up the hill. He's going to get to Stoner corner. And then right here, if you get hard on the brakes and get underneath somebody at Miller, you might have a chance to make a pass right here, Jacob.
Yeah, the rest of this track's pretty much all very, very tight and just getting one car around, let alone two, and there's not a ton of opportunity to kind of generate any sorts of runs, let alone muster them into a side-by-side battle. Let alone, I don't think you'll want to, as we'll see as he kind of comes back over the hill on the back half of the track here. Yeah,
going through Lucky Heights. Turn number 9, it's a long left-hand sweeper. Down the hill, hard on the brakes to go right at turn number 10. Under the bridge, make a left at 11. This lap goes by pretty doggone quick, Jacob. There's pit entrance around turn number 12, and we are back home already here at Phillip Island. The lap for Rashad Craig, 1:12.723, minute 12:723, and that bumps him up to third quick. Rashad Craig remains our championship leader, and Jacob, we're running out of weeks for these boys to catch him.
That we are. And the rest of the season, pretty much until, well, I guess the last week's at Road Atlanta, but it'll be two oval weeks to follow it up. So it'll be Milwaukee and Nashville. We'll have to see how these guys get on the ovals coming to the down to the line here.
You know, we most certainly will. Welcome to Ryan Cass. Welcome to the broadcast, Ryan Cass. You will not be in the back. There are going to be several guys who do not take time, and you did. And so you will not be at the back of this field. But do want to thank everybody who's tuned it in, who's joined us this evening for a pretty unique IndyCar race from Phillip Island in virtual Australia. Once again, Mark Murphy, Jacob Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. We do encourage the chat, the interaction from the audience. If you've got something on your mind, go ahead and throw it in there. We'd be more than happy to help you out. Jacob, tell us about the race distance today.
Well, we're in for 33 laps around the 2.76 mile Phillip Island here, so it's going to put us around, I don't know, just under 100 miles, give or take. You know, I'm napkin mathing in my brain here, so
that's okay.
But we'll likely see long stints on the black primary tires, given the testing I've done and kind of talking to people throughout the lead up to this event. It's a high deg track, as you'll kind of notice that a lot of these corners are very, very sustained loads on the tires. You know, you're going to see maybe one quick lap right at the start of the run, both runs, and then the tires are kind of going to just cliff off, and you're basically spending the whole rest of the stint trying to hold on to them. So we'll see how long that opening run is, how many people opt to take the black tire early and maybe try to skate by on the reds come the end of the race, and the tire strategy will probably be the biggest factor coming into who goes where in terms of the outcome of the race.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking with some of the drivers beforehand. 17 to 21 laps seems to be kind of the fuel run. So, you know, you're going to want to. The biggest part of this race, to me, isn't going to be the fuel, Jay, or isn't going to be the fuel or the tire strategy. It's going to be navigating traffic. This is by far the most diverse race that we have seen on P1 in a long time. You've got Peter Berryman, the Apex Racing team ace, 9489 or 9469 I rating. You get down to the number 26 car, that is Nicholas Breyer. That's a 706 I rating and does not have an A license. And so there's definitely some diversity here when it comes to the cars, and there is going to be traffic.
There most definitely is. This is probably about the closest we'll get all season, at the very least, to a multi-class IndyCar race.
You said it, Jacob. On the pole, the aforementioned Peter Berryman, 1 minute 11.924. Anna Klimek, Anna the Deer, great lap, minute 12.605. She'll start outside. Rashad Craig, minute 12.725 for the championship leader. He'll be to the inside of Alan Brutreau with the powerful Fiercely Ford team. Then it's Logan Edwards and Ty Keela from Rogue Racing making an excellent start here for Phillip Island. Shady Ahmed 7th, Will Weiser 8th, Thomas Van Kirk, Milo Green are going to round out your top 10. In 11th, it's going to be Chad Simpson, Brian Autry 12th, Stuart Geddes 13th, Nate Michael 14th, Nicholas Breyer, that is, again, the lowest I rating in the field, 706. He also boasts a B license, which is pretty rare for a top split IndyCar race. Congratulations to Nicholas on his excellent lap. 16th, he'll start right next to former community leader Evan Adams. Robin Glakis, 17th. Kristen Loxon, 18th. Tristan Fortson, 19th. And Ryan Cass is going to round out your top 20. In 21st, Zachary Chasen, 22nd. Tyler Langenberg. Lance Simon will go 23rd. Kleber Mora will start from 24th. Chris Thompson, 25th. And Garrett Lilly, 26th. The final 5 drivers from Langenberg on back did not take time, Jacob. So no time taken by the final 5 as we get ready to go here. Always kind of interesting when you come to a motorcycle course. There's no flag stand. That's Barney standing on he's standing on a platform, or looks like a culvert maybe?
I'd like to think they maybe just got him on a cement bucket up next to the pit wall.
You know, kind of harkens back to the days of old where the flagman would run across the racetrack to display the flag. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Jacob. That's a very cool and very terrifying thing. To see. Tony George did that a couple of times at the United States Grand Prix when it was at Indianapolis, and it's a sight to behold for certain sure.
Yeah, back in the days of the Le Mans start, where people were getting in a hustle to not even put their seatbelts on, you know, the glory days, if you will.
Was it Dan Gurney that decided he just wasn't going to participate in that mess? And just walk to his car?
That seems like something he would have done.
Love me some Dan Gurney. There's the field. Looking back, I got into a heated argument with my wife when our first son was due to be born about what we were going to name him. I lobbied hard for Daniel Sexton. I lost. She said, "You're not going to name my kid after a race car driver," so we named him AJ.
I don't think that worked out in her favor. Now, did it?
Most everything does. The compromise was that the A is for Anton, which is her grandfather's name, and then she found out that there's a racing meaning behind Anton as well. So there you go. A little bit of family fun here. It is a long parade lap here at Phillip Island, Jacob.
Yeah, you got to imagine with kind of the winding nature of the course and it being kind of just under 3 miles, it's going to take a little while to get around here, but that gives us time to take in this wonderful view oceanside in Australia. It doesn't get much more picturesque than this.
It does not, and we are getting ready for 33 laps of IndyCar action around a track that they will never see in real life. The pace car is going to duck. The Porsche 911 pace car is getting ready to duck off onto pit road just as soon as they clear turns 10 and 11. You'll see the access road here on the left. Pace car is getting ready to hit that, and once we do, and there's the cones, once we do, we're going to get this thing into green flag action. Peter Berryman is going to lead Anna the Deer, Rashad Craig, and Alan Berteau off of turn number 12 down the Gardner Straight. Barney has the green flag in hand.
Green flag.
And the green flag is out. IndyCar Open at Phillip Island is on, Jacob. The good news for these drivers, if there is good news here, is that it is not a tight turn 1 or even turn 2 or 3. They've got space to sort themselves out and get single file before they get to Miller there and that first passing zone.
Yeah, as we kind of see them negotiate here, I'm looking at Anna and I believe Alan Berteau up near the front. It might be Edwards at this point.
Yeah, that's Logan Edwards. Logan Edwards is the first one to try to make use of that passing zone. He dives to the inside of Anna Klimek going into the Miller corner. He does not make that stick. Anna the Deer will remain third. Rashad Craig has slipped past Anna and now has taken up residence in second.
I don't think the robots will take kindly to that one.
I don't think the robots are going to take kindly to anything I do. But there's Anna the Deer. There's Rashad Craig. And here is what Rashad is looking at out the front. Peter Berryman has already started to disappear up the Gardner Straight as we start lap 2. 1.8 seconds the advantage for Berryman on that first lap.
Yeah, he spent no time waiting to get under the power once that green flag came out and kind of launched away from the rest of the field. And I think pretty much everybody had to spend at least some time navigating the other cars out of the track. But Peter's off getting ready to go take a surfing trip down on the beach come the end of this one.
Yes, he is. We're going to keep the eyeballs right here on Rashad Craig. You see Berryman going off in the distance. Do want to welcome Lith Fox, Alex Miller, both regular competitors to the broadcast. Taking a week off, fellas. 26 cars, so a single split. And we're going to continue to talk about that because one of probably the most impressive efforts that you're going to see, it resides in 11th place. That is Nicholas Breyer. He started 15th. It's showing him 11th on that graphic. He is 12th on the graphic. He is 11th. Nicholas Breyer, a 706 I rating, a B license, and he's in here mixing up with the big guns. He's ahead of Chad Simpson, a member of the powerful Satellite Racing team.
You know, you got to make do with these opportunities when they present themselves, and he's spending no time as he goes to the outside of Milo Green down the front stretch here.
Yeah, there goes Nicholas. He's on the button. He's on now. Nicholas Breyer is on the red tires. He is on the alternate. Quicker tires, and we said at the top of the show they're going to be quick, but there might be some tire deg involved. But Nicholas Breyer making good use of those red tires early. The conditions here, Jacob, you could not get any better. 67 in the air, 77 on the track. It is windy, 15 miles an hour out of the northwest. But it is it is ideal, Jacob. And you're the meteorologist here. What do you see about rain? We are close to the coast after all, and there are some dark clouds in that sky.
There is no rain on the radar. That wind is only going to get slightly stronger, go up to maybe 14 miles an hour in a couple minutes here, and then kind of dial its way back down towards the end of the event here. Other than that, we're just in for a nice dry day here on the coastline of Australia, having ourselves a time.
There we go. We'll go back to the front. Rashad Craig. He's my teammate, Jacob. I can get away with mispronouncing a lot of names, but not his, right? Rashad Craig is running along in second. Peter Berryman in the Apex Racing Team machine has disappeared into the distance. 3.2 seconds on Rashad Craig from the front of this field. Berryman leads Craig, and then you've got Logan Edwards a little bit behind Rashad. It's about 0.6 of a second. He's got about half a second on Anna the Deer. She runs in fourth, and that's where kind of the conga line starts. It's with Edwards, and then Anna, and then Alan Bruteau. There you see the Fiercely Ford machine. He runs along in fifth. Ty Keela in the Road Racing entry is sixth, and there's Ty. Behind him, P7, you've got Will Weiser in another Luke Mansky Motorsports entry, followed by Shady Ahmed, the familiar Repsol colors for Shady. Thomas Van Kirk is ninth, and Nicholas Breyer has made it to the top 10. He's used up a bunch of push to pass. He's used up a bunch of those red alternate tires, Jacob. But Nicholas Breyer is coming, and he might be knocking on the door of Thomas Van Kirk here pretty shortly.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gamble coming out on the Reds early here. As we see, there's probably, I believe Ty Keela's the highest of the Red runners, and there's only about 4 of them out on track at this time. So a lot of guys opted for that black tire early in this race to try to maybe extend this opening run as long as possible and stay off the Reds as much as they can. But the guys that are on the Reds have to make their moves now, right? These tires, at least in testing, probably fall off around 5 laps in, and that's about where we are right about now. So this is kind of the point at which they got to hold on to what they've got and see what they can do from here.
Well, and if you look at, a guy like Ty Keela, more known as an oval racer, certainly skilled on the twisties, but more of an oval guy. He's looking to leverage something that is the opposite. You see him under fire from Will Weiser. Weiser is going to get by and get into sixth, and I wonder if those red alternate tires are starting to already fade, Jacob.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's probably about 5 laps in that the degradation on those reds starts to get really noticeable, at least in comparison to the blacks. Especially once we get about 10 laps in, then they're going to be pretty far off where they started for sure. At least for me, it was about a second of fall off from the start to the end of that 10-lap stint on the Reds, whereas the blacks kind of stay within about 5 seconds of where they start, but they're also 5/10 of a second off of where they start, and they kind of stay around there the whole stint. So be interesting to see how long these Red runners can kind of hold off the improving black tires going through the rest of this stint here.
It most certainly will. Ty Keela is not done defending what is now 7th spot. Shady Ahmed drew alongside briefly, couldn't quite get it done. Ty Keela is going to lead him back through the backside of this course one more time. Looking at headed toward what? Turn number, what is that, 8? There's 9. We're going up through the heights. And you're going to see this is a very difficult corner for me. It's down the hill, hard right-hander at turn number 10. And you can see Ty Keela is losing performance with those alternate tires. Shady Ahmed is going to have a go here, coming through turn number 12 and onto the main straight.
Yeah, Ahmed on the button. Is going to look to the inside here. We'll see if he can draw alongside, which he does. Makes the move. Ty lets him go. Probably knows better that he's on the tire that's kind of given way here, and is kind of just going to have to settle for fighting who he can rather than trying to use up his tires and maybe result in some further issues.
There you go. Further up the field, Alan Bruteau has made it clear of Anna the Deer, so move Alan Bruteau to 4th, Anna Klimek back to 5th, and she's not got much, she's got about a second and a half before she comes under fire from Will Weiser. Do want to kind of go back through the field a little bit, Jacob, because we've got some names and some faces that we haven't seen very often in these races. Give them their due. Milo Green, there he is. He runs along in 11th. Chad Simpson in the Satellite Racing entry, he is 12th. Stuart Geddes is 13th, and there he is. There's all sorts of racing luck going on with that car. It's green. It's got 13 on it, Jacob. I don't know if I'd stand next to that one if it was driving under a ladder, my man. Brian.
No, but fortunately there's only bridges here.
That's very true. Brian Autry runs along in 14th. A nice throwback livery to Scotty Brayton. I like that car. That's a good-looking car. For the Coldwater, Michigan driver, of course, tragically lost in a testing accident in Indianapolis after he'd won the pole. But Scott Brayton, one of the favorites of the Speedway. It's nice to see one of those tribute liveries out there. Tyler Langenberg is 15th, and there's Ty in the gold number 10. Kristen Loxon is 16th. Nate Michael 17th. There's Nate as he runs along. Give you a chance to have a look at his machine. Evan Adams. Now this is a guy for the All-American iRacers that is a very familiar fixture to most of us in the community. Maybe not in the top splits, but Evan Adams, given his All-American iRacers machine a top-level run, he is 18th. Tristan Fortson, there he is in the Rocket entry, is 19th. And Kleber Mora runs along in 20th. Other notables in the field, Robin Glakis, 21st. Garrett Lilly in 22nd. Lance Simon, Forsyth Green machine, is 23rd. Ryan Cass, he's still not last, Ryan. You're still not last. You're doing good. He is out there in 24th. Chris Thompson is 25th, and there's Chris in the number 23. Zachary Chasen has bowed out and retired his machine, and so it will be a 26th place finish for Zachary Chasen. We're going to get back up front because this is the fight for position. You've got Rashad Craig and Logan Edwards, and they're kind of doing battle here for second and third. Peter Berryman 6 seconds up the road, 6.5 seconds up the road, but this is the battle for second. Edwards is there on Rashad Craig, and then Alan Bruteau has Anna Klimek. He got past Klimek, but Anna the Deer is staying right there in 5th.
Yeah, last time by, it looks like it was about a 10th separating them, with Anna being a slightly faster. So we'll see if maybe she can regain a bit of the pace, make it back up to Alan, and maybe mount a charge to make that pass back. Indeed,
indeed. Do want to point out, you see the green lighting up on the push to pass. Peter Berryman is at 149 seconds. He's got a 6.5 second lead, but Rashad Craig has only burped the button once. 197 seconds. Same for Logan Edwards at 194. Alan Bruteau at 180. Anna Klimek has not touched hers. Will Weiser has been all over his button. 136 seconds remaining. So kind of keep that in mind. All of these cars up here, the top 8, are on the primary black tires. It seems to me that many of them are saving their push to pass for that red alternate stint, Jacob.
Yeah, I'm thinking a good bit of that probably has to do with the fuel economy, right? As they want to stay out on these black tires as long as they can, as they seem to be the preferred tires. We saw most of the field start on them. So they're going to try to stretch this fuel window as long as they can to stay on these black tires as long as they can, and then hop onto the reds for hopefully a splash and dash to the finish.
Yes, they will. And we're going to go back and collect Nicholas Breyer. He's under fire from Stuart Geddes here. That's Geddes on the outside, Breyer on the inside as they head around turn number 12 and come for home. Geddes off the track and in the gravel. He'll lose spots to Tyler Langenberg. There goes Brian Autry past. Christian Loxon is going to go through. That's a tough break for Stuart Geddes. He looked like he was going to make the move into 12th, and instead he finds himself in what is going to appear to be at least 16th. He does not lose out to Nate Michael. He's going to be 16th by the time he gets to the end of the front stretch, by virtue of that sojourn through the gravel trap, Jacob.
Yeah, that corner does kind of narrow up as you exit it and make that like very, very sweeping left towards the front stretch. So it looks like he kind of just caught the right front tire onto the grass for a bit, and then it just kind of drags you out there, and you don't really have much of a choice but to try to lift out of it, regather it, and get it back going, get back on the track.
Speaking of passes, here goes Robin Glakis. He's going to make the move at turn number 4. Drop to the inside of Kleber Mora. Move Uncle Rob up to 19th position. Nicholas Breyer and Garrett Lilly have now dropped out of the race. Breyer and Lilly are going to be credited with 24th and 25th. And so Glakis makes the pass for what is 19th spot. And we've got a change in position for second place. Logan Edwards goes through Rashad Craig. Move Edwards to second, and he is lapping. Logan Edwards is the first one now that we've seen lap anywhere close to Peter Berryman. Berryman last time through 1:14.2. Logan Edwards 1:14.3. Rashad Craig 1:14.8.
Yeah, I went back to look at what happened to Breyer because he was running decently just outside the top 10. It looks like it must have been some sort of hardware failure because he went into the first turn and then the wheel just snapped left and then he just sailed off into the grass and disappeared.
Yeah, that is the telltale. That is the telltale for a hardware failure. If you see a wheel in iRacing lock left or right, that means that the steering apparatus is no longer connected to the set, and so that is. The program's reaction is just to lock the wheel left and slam on the brakes. Watching this battle for second, Logan Edwards has taken it away from Rashad Craig, and he's started to draw away. A half a second almost that time was the difference between Edwards and Craig. Berryman still leading very comfortably. He's out to about an 8-second advantage. This is the battle. It's Logan Edwards second, Rashad Craig third, Alan Berteau fourth, and Anna Klimek, Anna the Deer is fifth. And they are drawing away from Will Weiser. Here's the onboard from the second Lubansky Motorsports entry. Will Weiser is not catching Anna Klimek.
No, and some of that's definitely going to be down to being probably outside of the tow range, whereas kind of that front group of the four of them are kind of all within a second of each other, kind of stay in the tow down the straights. They just got to play nice through the corners and try to keep the gap so the more cars don't end up in this conga line.
Yeah, and that's very true. You know, as this track is very high speed, we will get the telemetry up here just to kind of underline that point, riding along with Will Weiser here. Just as we said he was losing time, he's chopped it back to within a second of Anna Klimek, so he's within draft range. They're going to reach terminal velocity at the end of this straightaway, depending on what their wings are set, 185, 190 miles an hour. And this first corner here, this first right-hander, is more or less flat out, Jacob.
Yeah, a lot of these corners are very, very high commitment. You have to be willing to put the car basically on the limit of the tire, keep it there, and then come off of it as the corner goes to a straight. And then the ones that aren't are basically hairpins or very, very slow, kind of closing camber corners that keep those tires loaded up all the way around this place.
We've got
so it's very much a battle of who can keep it
very
underneath.
slow car there. I believe that might be Garrett Lilly letting the leaders through. Do want to point out that our man Ty Keela has made his pit stop. So that's the first question answered. He went 14 laps on those red alternate tires and said that's enough and came into the pit lane. He had dropped a 10th place on those, Jacob.
Yeah, I think it was probably smart to try to get those off early here. Kind of the expected point in the run, seemingly, is to try to keep it inside that fuel window of about 17 to 21 laps, as we kind of talked about at the start of the show. So we'll see if he can make up some ground through the pit cycle. Maybe this undercut will yield him to a good spot and he can start working his way back through the field.
Indeed, indeed. So he is the first of the front runners to make his way to pit lane. Breyer and Chison are out. Garrett Lilly has effected repair to the 25, and he has made up a lap, made up a position on Nicholas Pryor. So put Lilly at 23rd. He is circulating. They're all chasing this man. That's Peter Berryman, the Apex Racing Team Machine. Number one for a reason, 94.69 I rating, and he is showing us why. He's put laps on Ryan Cass, Chris Thompson. Ryan Cass and Chris Thompson already. Berryman is about another 10 seconds away from encountering Lance Simon and Tristan Fortson. Tristan has made his way to the pit lane though. He was one of those that was on the red alternate tires. Jacob, he's gonna take the opportunity to get those off now.
Yeah, likewise. It's going to be basically a matter of when do those guys opt to get off of those things, because they're done and dusted well past their shelf life, so they'll have to get back out there and see what they can do on the harder tire.
They most certainly are. Peter Berryman is leading it. Alan Berteau has made his way past Rashad Craig, so put Berteau into third, Craig back to fourth. This five-car conga line still, this five-car conga line, Jacob, has become five. Will Weiser has caught them, and so P2 through P6 are all in the same draft, and they are about to encounter what appears to be Tristan Fortson just ahead.
Yeah, big moment for Will Weiser there, coming out of that right-handed hairpin there. Gets it back underneath of him, but yeah, they're going to encounter Tristan here. Tristan likely going to let these guys through at the best opportunity he can give them once they get to him. But, that's kind of the interesting part about these strategies being what they are, right? Is there's going to be guys that hit really, really early here coming off those red tires and are going to get caught by guys trying to extend the black tire stint as long as they can. And then they're going to kind of leapfrog back maybe a little bit once the tires come off of those black runners. And then they got to do it all over again.
Yes, they will. Peter Berryman leads it from this group. All the eyes are on Logan Edwards, Alan Berteau, Rashad Craig, Anna Klimek, Will Weiser. Weiser, by virtue of that mistake, has dropped 2 seconds back. So he did all that work, Jacob. He got all the way caught up, and now he's right back where he started 5 laps ago.
Well, I will point out that there was quite a scrap between Craig, Berteau, and Edwards for that second position at a point in time that kind of drug that group of 4 back to Will. But Will was hanging in there with him. He made the most that he could, trying to stay in that tow, but he'll have to see if maybe the lap car, Tristan Fortson, will yield him some fortunes to try to get back to that.
Well, and I was just about to say that. Tristan Fortson, not that he's wanting to be in the way, but everything past about turn number 5 here at PHILLIP Island, all the way back to turn 12. So just about half the lap. It's very difficult to even have a chance to get out of the way. You see him go through turn 10, very tight right-hander. Fortson kind of gets forced out of the way by Logan Edwards there. Edwards just takes the line. That's going to let Berteau and Craig through. But it's not a situation here where there are places to hide, because there are none of those.
No, it's a bit kind of like how Lime Rock Park would have been about a season or two ago. There's just not really anywhere for cars to go when they're being passed by lead traffic. So it's very much a courtesy thing to try to do it whenever the opportunity presents itself and kind of roll out of the way.
Indeed. Do want to point out that Ryan Cass, Chris Thompson, and Garrett Lilly all have the meatball flag. Thompson and Lilly are on the pit lane. Cass circulating very slowly. Do want to thank our wonderful audience tonight, and we do have a big one, Jacob. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting Network, be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts. And Jacob, we've got a ton of those, a ton of upcoming action. Of course, tomorrow night, the Indy Oval Series top split, that's the flagship broadcast. You guys are headed for Motegi. Is that right?
That we are, yes.
And I am sad. I had thought about leaving my rocking chair and joining you fellas. Unfortunately, we have a friend that's in town, and so I'm going to be unable to do that. But if the opportunity presented itself, I would race Motegi. It's one of my favorite tracks in this car. That'd be 815. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Gary Godso on the call for that one. On Wednesday, Ryan Eric King and I will bring you the Horizon IndyCar Series from Auto Club. That's an 8 o'clock Eastern start. Thursday night, it is the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series from Iowa, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 race start. That'll be Sam Crow and I. And then Sunday night, we've got a barn burner of a dandy plan, Jacob Collins. The DW12s are going to Old Bumpy, Michigan.
That's an all-time classic.
It is, and that'll bring us right back to this time slot next week, 8 p.m. Jacob Collins and I will bring you commentary that you'll probably want to mute, but wonderful pictures of the IndyCar Series Monday Night Top Split from Milwaukee. You can catch that at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard right here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Watching Logan Edwards dive for the pit lane, and he darn near dropped a wheel off, got that thing off the track, Jacob.
Yeah, that access road is very, very tight and narrow, and the kind of the angle you got to attack it at is pretty hard to get a car down.
Yes, it is. Peter Berryman has made his pit stop, and you see the number 1 for the Apex Racing Team, SDK Gaming, on the side of that car. He is back out on the track. He is on his red alternate tires. And, Jacob, that might be a shade early. Alan Bruteau and Rashad Craig, as well as Anna Klimek, have all stayed out here one more time, trying desperately to stay off those red tires.
Well, you've got to imagine Peter's kind of in a class of his own unless a major malfunction here happens at some point. So he can kind of come into the pit lane wherever he thinks he can make it to the end of the race. I think the rest of these cars that have stayed out as long as they have are hoping to try to maybe leapfrog each other, or some of the guys that pit earlier be able to stay on the red tires for less time, maybe take a little bit less fuel. You know, there's things that can happen there. So we'll see what they manage to muster come the end of the pit cycle here.
And that was always kind of my strategy in road races, as you see Bruteau and Rashad Craig come to the pit lane, and that's going to put this car, the number 6 of Anna Klimek. Anna the Deer for Taylor Mills Racing has gone to the lead, and she will have that lead for at least one lap, Jacob. Everybody else is on the pit lane. Milo Green, Chad Simpson are the only cars that haven't stopped. Berryman has already passed Rashad Craig and Alan Bruteau in the pit lane, but Anna Klimek has the lead at least for one time through here, Jacob.
Yeah, bumping up the laps led stat's always a good one. I'm good for a couple of those really long fuel mileage runs. Get a couple laps led. Probably the only laps I lead in a season is from such circumstances. So you got to get those when you can get them.
Well, you know, Jacob, it's kind of funny. I think that this plays into Anna's advantage here. We saw with Ty Keela early, and Ty has made it back up to 11th spot. So don't sleep on Ty Keela because he's got hot blacks, and he is poised to make a charge through those red runners. But we've seen that through Ty, that the red tires, you want to stay off of those as Anna Klimek comes in. I think you're right. I don't think it's going to affect this man right here, Peter Berryman. He's already nearly a lap ahead of her. As you see Peter Berryman come through, he's going to, well, not already a lap, but he's already going to make that pass for the lead. And that means he is going to be staked to a 15-second lead over Logan Edwards, Alan Bruteau, and Rashad Craig, who are still kind of they're not right together. Edwards has the advantage. He's going to go past Klimek. As you see Klimek come out the pit lane, here's the thing. Logan Edwards stopped 3 laps ago. Anna Klimek won, so she does not have 2 laps on the backside of the bad reds, right? Does not have that. So smart, intelligent driving from Anna Klimek. She's going to lose the spot here to Rashad Craig, I think, and maybe to Will Weiser, because they're on hot tires. She's on cold. But she got to take less fuel, and that was always my strategy at high deg tracks with the alternate tires, is extend the blacks as long as I could so that I could take less fuel, because the less fuel you take, the less weight, Jacob. Less weight does what?
Well, it makes the car lighter, and it makes it go faster.
It does make it lighter. It does make it go faster, but it's a lot easier. I tend to lose the rears on the alternates, and so if you've got less weight on the back, you don't tend to hurt the rear tires near as much. And so I think all that's going to play in Anna Klimek's favor. Logan Edwards is just about 3.5 seconds ahead of these drivers here. There's Craig in fourth. We're going to go back to Alan Bruteau because Bruteau is looking at his aero screen, and he is catching Logan Edwards 0.8 of a second that last time through.
And that may just come down to his golden lap's going to be basically right after Edwards's. So, you know, this is the opportunity to strike. Kind of these tires fall off quick and they fall off fast. So the faster you can kind of make moves on people, get ahead of them, now's the time.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it right earlier, Jacob. About 5 laps, and the Firestone alternate red tires are just about past their sell-by day. Logan Edwards is coming by to complete his 4th lap and start his 5th. Alan Bruteau has 3 laps on his. Anna Klimek 2 laps on hers. Rashad Craig also with 3 laps. So think about that. Logan Edwards is going to reach that tire cliff 1 lap sooner than Alan Bruteau or Rashad Craig, and 2 laps sooner than Anna Klimek. So this is going to get quite interesting here, my opinion. Do also want to point out that on his alternate strategy, Ty Keelan now runs 12th. He, Brian Autry, and Tristan Fortson are the only cars on the primary tires. Ty has Chad Simpson directly in front of him, and Simpson is going to be a couple of laps from that tire cliff, Jacob.
Yeah, that cliff's going to kind of hit, and you'll notice that the degradation becomes to the point where it's going to be about a second a lap slower than maybe they started on. So if they were running around the low 13s, they might be down to a low 14 come that point in time. So we'll see just how bad that winds up being the case in a couple laps here when these tires really start to show their age.
Yeah, Chad Simpson just set his fastest lap a minute 14:7:44. Ty Keelan minute 18:2:30. So we would expect, Mr. Collins, that Ty is going to start gaining on Chad Simpson, or Chad Simpson's tires are going to give up here within the next couple of laps, and those lap times, while they'll remain same or all square for Ty, Chad Simpson, Taylor Langenberg, and there's Langenberg up ahead of Simpson. Milo Green is another 5 seconds up the road. These cars are going to start falling off something fierce. And speaking of something fierce, Alan Bruteau has gotten past Logan Edwards. So move Alan Bruteau to second, Logan Edwards to third. Anna Klimek has disposed of Rashad Craig, and Anna the Deer is coming. 113.
And this is part of.
Go ahead, Jacob.
This is part where the overcut will play in here, right? Is she's got her tires in the operating window now, where these front couple cars have started to fall off. This is the time for her to strike.
It most certainly is. Logan Edwards is now past the time, so he's working lap number 7. His red tires are starting to go away. Klimek's still in prime operating temperature, and you got to think Rashad Craig falling off the pace here. You got to think he's thinking big picture. He's got the points lead. There's no reason to push it. This is not a big SOF because it's a single split. We were looking at what, 2,400?
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is going to be a drop week for the championship. You watch Anna Klimek. She's going to dive to the inside, headed for turn. Which one was that? I was talking.
That was turn 1.
I was talking and I got backed up. That's turn number 1. Okay.
Now we're heading towards turn 3, this left-hander here, and then we'll be at 4, which I believe is the right-hander at the end of this little straightaway here.
It most certainly is. I wonder where that access road goes off to, Jacob. There's not. It's got to be like a club circuit of some sort, but I don't see how that would naturally connect anything unless it goes all the way across the track and picks it back up at like turn 10 or 11 or something.
That might just be like a Marshall road, because they've got it to the Marshall stand in the first or the second corner there, and it comes all the way down. it looks like they're kind of just using it to get to all the Marshall posts, the way I'm seeing it.
Gotcha. So we're watching Logan Edwards. What we ought to be watching is Anna Klimek, because Anna the Deer has closed in on Alan Berteau, and Anna is going to go to the outside of Berteau here, down the front straight. Power move for the TMR machine. Berteau from Fiercely Ford is going to be forced to give way here. Anna Klimek with the line. She'll take second place off of Alan Berteau.
Yeah, she's making the most of those alternate tires for the couple laps here that they're going to be at their best. So we'll see if she can hold on to it the next, 6 or 7 laps that we've got left in this race.
Well, and they're going to degrade, right, Jacob? But they're going to degrade. I just lost my train of thought. Alan Berteau, Logan Edwards, their tires are degrading. They're already degraded. So she's always going to be 1 lap better on the dag than the cars that she's fighting. And she's got the track position now. What a splendid move strategically for Anna Klimek to vault herself into second.
Well, the big thing will always be is how do you manage the deg, right? Like, the deg may be worse for some of these cars that she's made it by, but if her tires start to degrade much more rapidly or maybe wind up in a worse spot, she locks the tire here, makes a slide there, that could degrade the tire faster, and that's just as hard as having the tires be more degraded to start with. So we'll see.
We will see. What we are also going to see, Jacob, is this man, Peter Berryman. He has put on an absolute cleaning, and let's give Peter his due. He has built a 16.5-second lead over Anna Klimek, Alan Berteau, Logan Edwards, and Rashad Craig. And I know we don't see Peter very often. That's a guy that was in, if memory serves, was in the Butt Kicker Series, was in the IndyCar Pro Series, and did very, very, very well. Of course, a member of the powerful Apex Racing team, so that includes community luminaries like Brandon Trano. But that's a fast car, and he is showing why he's got that 94.69 I rating, Jacob.
Yeah, there's only so far you can get with minimal pace, and Peter's clearly got more than minimal pace here.
Yes, he has. Let's ride on board. We've shown pretty much everybody else from an onboard perspective. Let's let Peter Berryman give us a tour of Phillip Island.
Oh, look, they've got a boat out in the ocean out there.
There's a boat? How come we are not on the boat?
I don't know. That'd be pretty cool if they could give us a telescope, but we could watch the race from the yacht out in the ocean there.
These are the things that Jacob Collins is responsible for. If there's a yacht in an ocean watching a car race, you're responsible for getting us on the yacht, right? But that would be cool. I have to suggest that to the guys and gals at Whiplash. See if they can get us see if they can get us a yacht cam. You know what else would be cool would be Long Beach, if you could get one from if you could get a camera on the Queen Mary.
On top of the Bubba Gump Shrimp.
Yeah, top of Bubba Gump Shrimp. You get one on top of the Queen Mary, right? That's on the bucket list. I would love to go to Long Beach. I've been to St. Pete, but I would absolutely love to go to Long Beach. That's a lap with your leader, Peter Berryman, as he strokes along. Make that lap 30 of 33, and it's all over but the shouting, Jacob, with 4 laps to go. At least for the win. These cars back here, they're still fighting. Anna Klimek, Alan Berteau, they've got the other 2 steps of the podium locked out. Logan Edwards would like to get there, and Rashad Craig has inched his way back into the discussion on Logan Edwards.
Yeah, another close battle we've got out on the track here is Will Weiser and Shady Ahmed. That's about a half second there. It looks like there's kind of like a tandem for everybody out in the top 12 here. You've got, Anna and Berteau, Edwards and Craig, Weiser and Ahmad, Van Kirk and Milo Green are about a second apart, Langenberg and Keela. Everybody's got somebody to dance with.
Yeah, and speaking of Ty Keela, let's not short him. He is all over the back of Tyler Langenberg. If Ty's able to get that thing up into the top 10, I know he started 6th. He was on an alternate strategy, but if he's able to make that work, he's got Milo Green not too far up the road. If he's able to make this work, that would be a really good effort for Ty.
Certainly.
You know, and something else we kind of talk about is you look at it. One of the things I've always said in iRacing, I always race against my car number, Jacob. Ty is car number 11. So if he's running along in 11th, that's what the sim says he should run in this field. But we will get away from Ty and get refocused because we're about to have a battle right here. Tristan Fortson is the jam car in front of Alan Bruteau. Logan Edwards and Rashad Craig are in hot pursuit as they head toward that hairpin at turn number 4. Fortson going to stay wide and let the leaders through, but that backed positions 3, 4, and 5 all up right together. Anna Clement got some breathing room.
Yeah, you got to imagine Anna's very, very thankful to be in that position to begin with, right? She got past Berteau and Edwards on the strategy of pitting a bit later, getting her alternates on a bit later into the race here, and is able to have that track position, get the gap, and navigate the lap traffic at just the right time. And sometimes that's all it takes.
Most certainly so. And there's that gap we were talking about. Where's this boat you're going on about, Jacob? I'd like to see this.
So if you look off of turn 1 to the right into the ocean, you can kind of see it looks like either some sort of giant yacht or a cruise ship out in the ocean.
Turn 1 off to the...
Yeah, or sorry, off of turn 2. Off of turn 2, the sweeping left, you can see it like way out there on corner exit. Big old boat in the ocean.
Big old boat in the ocean. So if you're watching this, Whiplash, we need a camera from the big old boat in the ocean. We've got the number 8. That is that Milo Green running very slowly?
It would be the 8 car.
So that's Milo Green.
I believe.
Or it could be misnumbered. It's Nate Michael. So it's numbered 8. It's stamped number 8, but it is actually the 21 of Nate Michael that was running very slowly there. Don't want to take away from this battle because Logan Edwards has dropped back into the clutches of Rashad Craig. Those two are in a championship fight, Jacob. That's P1 and P2 in the IndyCar Open point standings as we head for the final lap. Peter Berryman has this one well in hand. There goes Berryman underneath Uncle Rob. Robin Glakis, by the way, is running 15th. That is not a slouch of an effort. Peter Berryman has absolutely buried a very good field here tonight.
Certainly has.
So here's Berryman. He's going to come through what appears to be that's turn number 9. So now we're down through turn number 10. That's the second hairpin. He's going to come along around turns number 11 and 12. He's going to hit the main straightaway. Peter Berryman is going to put the exclamation point. He'll be greeted by Barney with a checkered flag, and he's going to put an exclamation point on a dominant win here at PHILLIP Island. And there's the checkered flag for Berryman. Let's get back to this race for second, third, and fourth. Anna the Deer is going to have second. It appears fairly well in hand. Bruteau is fairly safe in third. The battle is Rashad Craig and Logan Edwards as they come to the line. Rashad's going to try him. Does not have enough steam to get past Logan Edwards. Rashad Craig will finish 5th. Will Weiser is next through. There is a battle for position, though. This is Thomas Van Kirk and Milo Green. This is 8th and 9th. Ty Keela is going to come up just short. He got past Langenberg. Keela is going to finish 10th on his alternate strategy. There they come through. And then Brian Autry is in that Scott Brayton machine, is in a battle with Stuart Geddes. These two have been going at it for a while, Jacob, and they've still got quite a bit of their lap yet to do. They were almost a lap down to Peter Berryman.
Yeah, they're going to start making their way through these last couple of corners here. We'll see if maybe Autry can make a run down the front stretch here.
He ran out of push to pass coming off the final corner. Barney is going to flag him home. Stuart Geddes in 13th. Brian Autry comes home in 14th. But it is a dominant win tonight for Peter Berryman. Like we said, Peter Berryman is the class of the field tonight. He is going to bring home the checkered flag. Berryman, 18.6 seconds over Anna Klimek. She leads home Alan Berteau for the middle step of the podium. Berteau will have third in the bronze medal. Logan Edwards fourth. Rashad Craig fifth. The two championship contenders finish right on top of each other in what is most likely going to be a drop week given the strength of field. Will Weiser is sixth. Shady Ahmed seventh. Milo Green is eighth. Thomas Van Kirk is ninth. And Ty Keela is going to round out your top 10. In 11th, Tyler Langenberg. Chad Simpson is 12th. Stuart Geddes 13th. Brian Autry 14th. Uncle Robin Glakis, the first car one lap down, is 15th. Tristan Fortson 16th. Kleber Morris 17th. Nate Michael 18th. Evan Adams 19th, and Lance Simon rounds out your top 20. It was a big field here tonight. Kristen Loskin is 21st, Ryan Cass 22nd. Ryan, you did not finish last, and congratulations on your run. Chris Thompson 23rd, Garrett Lilly 24th, Nicholas Pryor 25th, and Zachary Chasen 26th. Those last three out of the race. Let's see if we have any drivers in the Discord. We've got Alan Berteau. Alan, you've got Murphy and you've got Jacob Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, copy.
I've got to ask Alan, how wild was the end of the stint on the red tires, just hunting for any sort of traction?
Yeah, that was crazy because the rear was very hard here, so we were pushing hard the whole time, and the alternate tires are not made for 13 laps or something like that on this track. So yeah, we definitely survived.
You most certainly did. Jacob, what do you have for Alan this evening? Great to see Alan, by the way.
Yeah, we kind of saw a bit of a strategy game play out there with Anna pitting a bit later than everybody and having those alternate tires kind of in a better window to make passes back on you guys. Do you feel like there was maybe something you could have prioritized towards the start of the race, maybe saved a little bit more fuel to try to make that stint go a bit longer to be in a better position there? Or did you kind of make your bed and lie in it pretty early on and had to stick to it?
Yeah, so actually I had to save one more lap, so that's why I pitted one lap later than Logan. And but Anna was behind me and was saving even more fuel, and I had to push to not lose the draft. So that was really hard, but I'm happy I could have this strategy. So yeah, I could have not done better with this strategy, but that was great.
Well, Alan, thank you so much for joining us. It's always good to see you, my friend. You carried the team colors. You carried the team colors well today. The only Fiercely Ford entry. You bring it home third, as is the custom. Friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. The floor is yours, Alan.
Yeah, not many people today, but that was a great race, and I'm happy to race with everyone here. Thank you for broadcasting.
Thank you so much, Alan, for joining us. Congratulations. Go celebrate. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. That is Alan Berteau. He runs second. And we're going to bring up the person that I think probably, Jacob, the most people in the chat want to hear from. Anna Klimek, you've got Murphy, and you've got Jacob Collins in the booth. I'm pretty sure that our YouTube chat is littered with your fans. And so tell them how you finished second. By the way, what an awesome deal. How did you manage to save that extra lap of fuel so that you could have fresher reds at the end?
So that P2 start, I had a really bad start. I been awful at P2 starts lately. Like, I always get jumped, but I kind of thought, okay, let's think long term. And basically decided to stay in the draft and stay in map 4 and 5. So I did a little bit of lifting and coasting into turn 4 as well. So I was able to save plenty of fuel and just make sure I just kept in the draft and didn't lose it. And yeah, and I knew it was going to be a long-term strategy. Like, okay, I'll lose out now, but I know on the reds I can just push extra hard. I will use all my overtake, and it perfectly worked out.
Mr. Collins?
Yeah, we kind of saw that the red tires kind of worked their way to the top when you were able to pit a bit later there. Do you feel like there was any alternative to trying to stay out as long as possible there? We saw kind of Peter pit pretty early into that. Obviously, he had a big gap to the rest of the field, but was there potentially opportunity had you been able to work a gap that you might have tried something else, or was your strategy what you picked and that was what it was?
Yeah, I committed to the fuel saving strategy, and I knew that definitely that long-term plan of like, okay, I feel like those reds will die off like quite badly at the end of the stint. So I feel like if I just keep those extra 2 laps of fuel, I feel like I could have like kept that gap at the end, and I felt like I was still able to manage that gap at the end with Alan and Logan behind, even if my tires started to hit that dying off phase.
Well, I tell you what, my friends, great run, Anna. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth. As is the custom, you finish on the podium here on P1. You get the mic. Friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. The floor is yours.
Yes, so thank you to Taylor Mills Racing. Thank you to all the great peeps there. Thank you to all the VTuber friends I have and peeps who are in chat today and celebrating me on, and all friends from the INDYCAR as well. Mum, Dad, brother, my boyfriend Trent. Yeah, thank you all. So really happy to get my first podium in a broadcast slot here, because I got my first sports car win and Formula win at Phillip Island, and now I got my first broadcast podium interview here. So it's a very special place. Phillip Island's a very special place to me. So yeah.
For certain, sure. Well, we can see why, Anna, and go celebrate. You've earned it. Keep going fast, having fun, and we will see you at the next one.
Yep. Later.
That is Anna Klimek. Anna the Deer is going to run second today. I don't think that we paid the Jacob. Did you send the check to Peter for his appearance fee?
I'll get on that. I might have to get his contact information.
There you go. I don't think we're going to have Peter Berryman in the Discord for an interview, but congratulations, and we make light of it. I don't know that Peter even knows that this split is broadcasted, to be completely fair. And so, Peter Berryman, if you see this out there somewhere, find the P1 Broadcasting, find P1 Broadcasting on Discord. Next time you're in a race, we'd be more than happy to have you up in the booth. Jacob, with that said, it was a pretty interesting race all told. The tires made this a lot more wild than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think that kind of the couple guys that experimented on the reds kind of got what they asked for when they needed to pit a bit earlier than everybody else, and it was interesting seeing how they were able to kind of claw their way back through the field with Ty making up some spots and amongst others. So it was definitely everything and then some.
You know, it most certainly was, and we're not done. So everybody out there, we have got a full slate of open wheel action planned for you this week. Tomorrow night, it's the flagship broadcast, the INDYCAR Oval Series Tuesday Top Split presented by Techtopia. That's going to take place at 8:15 tomorrow night right here at P1 Broadcasting. On Wednesday, it's the Horizon INDYCAR Series live from Auto Club. Ryan Eric King and I will have the call at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday, we get taken over by the Cabs. It's the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. Sam Crow and I, 8:20 p.m. Gary and I are going to get Friday and Saturday off, Jacob. I don't know when the last time that's happened, but there's a knockdown, drag-out fight in the DW12s that's going to happen Sunday night, 8 o'clock, the Dark Horse DW12 Series. presented by the Joy of Driving from Legacy, Michigan, the old bumpy Michigan. Won't that be fun? We're going to be back here. Jacob, it's going to be a 1-week break for us. We will reconvene at 8 o'clock next Monday night from your neck of the woods. That's in Milwaukee. You excited? You're going to get a Miller and some cheese?
I'll at least have some cheese, that's for sure.
Fine. I'll tell you what. I'll have the Miller. You have the cheese. We'll have a Wisconsin kind of a day. Are you going to that race? The in the real version?
I just bought my tickets last night. I'm gonna be there.
Attaboy. We'll have to link up and shake hands. I'll buy you some cheese.
Sounds like a plan.
So that's Jacob Collins and Murph with our social plans. We do also want to thank everybody who joined us in chat. It was a fun group tonight. Always nice to have an awesome turnout. Do want to thank all of the drivers, the competitors, especially the pros like Peter Berryman that come out to play with us every so often. Thank you so much, Peter, for doing that. Do also want to thank the people who make it possible. And I'm not talking about the drivers I'm not talking about the drivers and the fans. I'm talking about the first responders, the police, the firemen, the military, the nurses in the emergency room, and the EMTs that drive the ambulance to get you there. From the bottom of our heart, we thank you. Jacob, it's almost relaxing. We don't have to go race tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
We will see everybody next week. Good night.